Welcome to the series. Over the next several videos, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I build modern websites using AI. We're going to start with nothing and build an entire project together step by step. One thing I want to make clear from the beginning is that this isn't going to be one of those coding tutorials where we spend an hour watching prompts scroll across the screen. Instead, I want to focus on the process. My goal is to show you the framework I use so you can apply it to almost any website you build. So let's get started. The tools will change over time, but a solid development process doesn't. Whether you're using Claude, ChatGPT, Cursor, Codex, or whatever comes next, the overall process stays surprisingly similar. That's what this series is about, not memorizing prompts, but learning how to think through a project from start to finish. The first thing I always do is choose my development stack. For me, that's Next.js, TypeScript, Tailwind, CSS, Framer, Motion, Superbase, and Vercel. Now, you don't, you definitely don't have to use this exact stack. There are plenty of great options out there. The important thing is choosing the stack you're comfortable with and sticking with it. Personally, I value stability over always chasing the newest release. If a new version has been tested, is stable, and actually improves my workflow, then I'll upgrade. Until then, I'd rather spend my time building products than constantly rewriting code. So you want to like pick a pretty stable version of your stack, um, and generally that doesn't mean picking the newest version, especially if it's just been released and is being tested and everything like that. You want to pick a stable version. It's going to do essentially everything you need it to. Okay. Um, so once I know the tools I'm using, I don't touch the code. I research. Okay. This is probably the biggest mistake I see beginners make. They open Claude, ChatGPT, Cursor, or whatever coding agent they're using and immediately ask it to build a website. The problem is AI only knows what you tell it. If you give it vague information, you're gonna get a vague website. So before I write a single prompt, I want to understand the business. Who are they? Who is their ideal customer? What services actually make them money? What makes them different from their competitors? And what actions do I want visitors to take when they land on the website? Those questions become the foundation for everything that comes later. Next, I research the market. I start looking at competitors, not to copy them, but to understand the industry. What sections do they all include? What are they doing well? Where are they weak? And more importantly, where is there an opportunity to build something better? I also like using Ahrefs to understand what people are actually searching for. Since it uses credits, I try to be intentional with how I use it. I'm looking for search demand, keyword opportunities, and what potential customers actually care about, not just what I think they care about. After that, I spend time talking with the client. I want to understand their goals, their frustrations, the thing they wish their current website did better, what they like, what they don't like, and every conversation becomes valuable information. The better I understand the client, the better I can build something that actually solves their problems. Now, we get to what I think is the most important part of the entire process. It's documentation. Everything goes into one place: meeting notes, business goals, competitor research, SEO research, features, design ideas, technical requirements, everything. I like having one document that becomes a source of truth for the entire project. Whenever something changes, I update that document. Whenever a new idea comes up, it goes into that document. That way, everyone, including AI, is always working from the same information. So this is where I AI, I'm sorry. This is where, yeah, AI becomes incredibly powerful. I use AI to organize information, brainstorm ideas, generate mockups, help plan features, and eventually help build the website. But AI isn't replacing the thinking. The thinking already happened during the research. AI simply helps execute the plan faster. The better your documentation is, the better your prompts become, and the better your prompts become, the better your results. One thing I also do is maintain a master checklist across all my projects. Every project teaches me something. Maybe I forgot an accessibility feature. Maybe I found a better way to structure forms. Maybe I improved my SEO process. Instead of relying on memory, I add it to my checklist. Every new website starts with that checklist. That means every project benefits from everything I've learned on the previous project. Over time, your process becomes stronger, more consistent, and much easier to scale. So, to summarize today's video, choose a stable development stack, research the business before touching the code, understand the market, understand the customer, document everything in one place, then let AI help you execute that plan. Research and documentations are the foundation of every successful website. Everything else is built on top of that foundation. So for the next episode, we're going to go ahead and start with an actual project. Now, if you have an idea, please just comment below. And, I read all my comments and I'll take it all into consideration. And yeah, so I hope to see you guys next week. And thank you for listening. And actually, before I take off here, I just want to encourage everybody, if this is all a lot of information, and I just want to encourage you all just to get started. Okay, if you don't want to do the documentation process, whatever. I'm just here to smooth things out on your journey, but I am an absolute believer of always getting started, even if you don't start perfectly. Um, Always just get started. And if you're doing the website for yourself, then the same thing applies for the research and the documentation. Okay, you don't have to be selling to a business to do this. If you want to build a website for your own use, it's still the same steps that I encourage: documentation, research, everything like that. And if that's a little bit too much for you to get started, then dude, just get started. That's 100% the most critical thing, is to always get started. Because in this life, execution is key, and that's what I really believe, and that's what I really encourage everyone to do. Well, anyways, I hope to see you guys in this next video here. Otherwise, have a great week. Stay blessed.